Hey, Randy Joe here, and welcome back to November Punk, where throughout the month of November, we are listening to nothing but punk albums. Now, of course, today we are going to be checking out Devo's 1978 debut record, Are We Not Men? We Are Devo. At 34 minutes and 46 seconds, this is a rather short LP. However, despite its length, it is one that has garnered significant praise since its release. Even though it is Punk Month, November Punk, this is a little bit more of a new wave focus, a little bit more danceable, a little bit more fun, one might say, especially with the contributions from Brian Eno, who at the time was working with the likes of David Bowie and, of course, Talking Heads with their respective trilogies. That being said, I'm a huge Brian Eno fan in general. I love his solo work, love his production, love what he does as a non-musician, as he calls himself. And I can't wait to see his kind of sound kind of inflicted here on Devo, because other than, Whip It, the most famous Devo song of all, I'm not too sure if I know many of these tracks. I think I've heard Uncontrollable Urge in passing, but I don't know if it's something I could really quote or pinpoint. But on the topic of Uncontrollable Urge, let's kick off the LP with listening to that track. Let's go. Ooh. Like that rising, maybe guitar there. Oh, this is a familiar track. I believe it's in many movies. I love that riff. Very catchy. Kind of reminds me of a cross between Talking Heads, of course, David Byrne's vocals, that similar shouty, yelpy vocal. But at the same time also reminds me of, melodically, I don't know why I'm forgetting the name of the band. The Go-Go's? We Got the Beat? I think it's the Go-Go's. But that's what I'm getting here. Not sure why, but I'm loving it. It's very catchy. Definitely runs in the same realm of the classic Talking Heads debut record. Love that rising kind of surfer rock kind of melody there. Oh, we're getting a little robotic. Letting that weirdness in. Ooh. Really fun, upbeat, punchy, like we've been saying with all these recent videos. But definitely leaning more into that new wave sound of the late 70s. Here's I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Clearly a cover of the Rolling Stones classic. But I don't know if I've heard their cover. I wonder. They're going to make it funkier, that's for sure. They're going to make it a lot weirder, I'm expecting. Already feels a little bit weirder. Oh. Oh yeah. Certainly weirder already with the a little bit more stripped back yelps. Much more sparse arrangement than I would have expected from Devo here. Nice use of space. Maybe that's Brian Eno's creativity there. Love that. That sense of tension there. Very strange panning there. Like a bouncing back and forth here. Oh. Some bizarre synth work. That might be Mr. Brian Eno himself actually on the synth. Even David Bowie was on production and mixing. That is fascinating to me. Certainly a much more stripped back, weirder, more alien-like version of that track. Removing the whole kind of rock element to it and diving fully into new wave. Praying Hands. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. I liked their rendition of it. Very different. Certainly feels Devo, but still, respecting the original, it would seem. Here's Praying Hands, though. Oh. Some of these riffs got a kind of surf rock mentality to them. But maybe the surfer's a robot? Because that's how I'm feeling. I'm sorry, what? The left hand diddling now. What is this track about? Is this about masturbation? Or praying? Oh. Hold on. It's getting quite kinky here. Seems like this track's about religion, sinners, kind of the orders you're given as a religious follower, perhaps. And yet, you are still a sinner. You are still a sexual deviant. Angel in the streets, freak in the sheets. Left-handed, this character. That might be the weirdest thing about him. Really a lot going on here. Kind of hard to dissect. I love the humor. Great sense of humor this band has. They are very weird. They're very funny. Would not be surprised if they are some theater kids at work here. Some clever humor on display, it would seem. Here's Space Junk. Which, speaking of space, very sci-fi kind of twist to their sound. Not just in the synths, but just like percussion and everything feels very tinny. Unique, for sure. Oh. Seems that Sally was killed by maybe a fallen satellite. Oh. So like Morse code in the background too? Am I crazy? The way this is all delivered, very choppy, very weird. Kind of nauseating. We're getting kind of lost in the sauce here. Oh. I think Brian Eno certainly found his weird crowd with this one. Let's go into the next track here. Track 5. Mongoloid. I'm not sure if that's an offensive term. I really hope not. I hope not. Pardon me if it is. Oh, lyrically this is seeming a little offensive. But certainly fitting that weirdness. I like these keys and these synths throughout the record. Really giving into that sci-fi element. Oh, yeah, that's a little bit of a... maybe a little bit more dated, that lyric, but that's okay. What isn't back then? You know what? He's hard at work. Even despite the dated nature of the track, that aside, nothing about this one kind of repetitive. Doesn't jump out at me as much as some of these other tracks. Other than the signature humor of their group, sonically nothing too great here. Oh, I do like this kind of wave we're riding here with this kind of funky guitar or synth or key. I mean, I'm not sure. You know what, though? Like I said earlier throughout the track, even if you remove the somewhat dated lyrics here, especially that one chromosome too many line, seems a little iffy by today's standards. Even if you remove that, the song itself is quite repetitive. It doesn't really offer too much more than I feel like these other tracks did. Significantly better, personally. I like the humor in some of these other more, especially Praying Hands and Space Junk, were quite humorous. Whereas Mongoloid just felt bordering on offensive. Here's Jocko, Homo. Oh. Like we're on a spaceship again. Some sort of alarm going off. What are these vocals? Oh my goodness. I love that. That is a very nasally, kind of muted delivery. Very, very funny to me. They're like, somehow I didn't think this was even possible. They're like a weirder Talking Heads. They're like if David Byrne was multiplied by 4. Or was sent to outer space. I mean, that man already seems like an alien to me. Devo. Devo. We are Devo. Devo. That's a fun little chorus. Probably the closest to a title track. Oh my lord. I'm flabbergasted by this one. Oh my lord. Okay. Maybe the funniest. I want to say the funny, maybe the weirdest track so far. A funny little commentary on either evolution or religion or both. I'm not too sure, but man, that was like some weirdly absurdist humor employed there. Got very bizarre. Love the delivery, up and down, kind of arpeggio like vocals. Very bizarre. Nasally kind of call and chant response. What even was that track? Yeah, that one, wow, that's a weird one. I don't even have words. That one was hilarious to me. Here's Too Much Paranoias. Keep the weird times going here. They are going full in to the weirdness, that's for sure. I'm sure Brian Eno did not help the case. Some sort of weird drive-through order at hand here. Ooh. In some sort of video game here, feels like. And kind of improvisational, it would seem. Oh. Alright, alright. I love this kind of smashing sound. I agree. Not a big Pickles fan personally. This LP getting weirder and weirder as we go on. Really, that's all I have to say. Let's see if that weirdness continues. Here's Gut Feeling, Slap Your Mammy. That's also an offensive term now, but again, maybe they didn't know. They do seem like they're from another universe. This one's a bit more kind of dialed back, a bit more low key. Ooh, this feels very Brian Eno-ish too. Like a slight kind of ambient focus, and remind me of some tracks off of Taking Tiger Mountain. Incredible LP. I love this instrumental. I love this very distinct production of it. I think I like the build-up more than I'm liking the vocal passage that's coming in. Ooh. I like that rising like theremin or something in the background. I feel like those drums should be a bit more punchier, but maybe that's just me. more oomph in the mix. Really leaning into the, I'm about to say, really leaning into those punk aesthetics here as it all kind of screeches together. Oh. Oh, especially that guitar cutting through the mix. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I liked the first half of it more, to be honest. That building instrumental was far more interesting to me, really, than that whole vocal section in the back half. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I really liked just focusing on that production and the beautiful sort of soundscape that was being developed there. And then, I mean, nothing against the vocals. I do like the very weird, yelpy-like delivery of our lead singer here, who I believe is Mr. Mark. I'm sorry, Mothersbaugh? What a weird name. But either way, as much as I like that vocal, I just don't find it was the best part of that track. Here's Come Back Jonee. I guess it's Johnny? Come Back Johnny? Oh, Johnny Be Good. Little reference there to a classic. This Johnny's a heartbreaker, it would seem. Oh, I'm sorry, what? Huh? This Johnny just died in a car crash? His head-on semi-truck just died? His guitar is all that's left now. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is a hilarious twist. I did not expect that. It breaks the heart to pursue the life of a musician, perhaps, and dies in a car crash, a full-on... Oh! Man, this track, I like this one. It gets catchier and catchier as it goes on. Also hilarious, narratively. Oh. Who do we got here? I'm not sure who's singing here. Sounds like a girl. I don't think it is. Hilarious twist on a classic tale of a man pursuing the life of a musician and breaking hearts on the way. Love the twist that was added there. He just dies, it would seem. Here's Sloppy. I see my baby gettin', which I'm imagining means this character is going to see his lovely lady, perhaps with another man. I don't know what it is. This one's quieter than the others. I didn't turn it down or anything. It's just a bit more of a muted track, I guess. What? What is going on with this track? This is a much more sexually driven track, perhaps. I do like those yelps. Those kind of chants. Love how sluggish it gets. Probably not my favorite track, though. It's certainly the fact that it feels quieter than the rest of the mix. I don't know if that's intentional. Certainly losing me a little bit, but even lyrically, a little bizarre, but nothing too standoutish. Just an abrupt cutoff. Yeah, that one was okay. Nothing really to say about sloppy. Here's Shrivel Up to close it out. I like the abruptness of our bassist here. Gerald Casal. Vocally, this one's very different vocals. Just sounds like his regular voice, maybe no performance on hand here. What are these vocals? They feel creepier, if anything, honestly. You'd think losing the yelpiness would be more comforting. I feel more on edge, the whispers. It's like he's right in our ears. Maybe living your life here under some sort of dictatorship or some sort of authority. I don't know. I don't know about this one. It's weird in all the wrong ways for me. Interesting. That's it for that track. A bizarre one. Weird. Maybe not weird in the ways that I liked some of these other tracks. I feel like it just felt almost trying too hard to be weird. I also don't know how I feel about the vocals on that one. Much more straightforward, much more clear, and less performative than the other vocals. But even still, you think that'd be a plus. But I feel like it kind of loses a bit of the humor, the sauce, the energy. But even still, sloppy, Shrivel Up, definitely not my favorites on the track list. And I thought track 5 here was a bit repetitive in nature. Certainly kind of loses its focus to me at almost 4 minutes long. I feel like it repeats the same idea, I think 3 or 4 times. At that point, you're kind of just driven home with it. That being said, let's talk about the album, the rest of the album, which I did like. A lot of great humor. I think that is definitely the standout element of this LP. It's not necessarily the playing or the chemistry, not necessarily the performance of the vocalist. Really, it all comes down to, I would say, the songwriting and the humor here, which is very unique and definitely full of humor. Space Junk, Praying Hands, Jocko, Homo. Actually, scratch what I said before. The performance is certainly the key sense of humor in Jocko, Homo. But even Too Much Paranoias, Come Back Jonee, hilarious tracks. All very funny. A nice twist of kind of narratives and fate on some of them there. Really playing with, it would seem to be some sense of satire on some of these tracks, especially Praying Hands, maybe the most satirical. But even Space Junk feels like there's a sense of self-awareness and sort of ridicule of society. I loved, really, the songwriting above all else on this LP, but I also really liked just how weird, zany, alien-like this entire project feels. Very synth-focused and keyboard-focused, even more so than the guitar work, which in the punk field, which we've been covering this month, is certainly a bit more of a standout element. Is this record for everyone? Certainly not. But I do like the production of it. I like the Brian Eno-esque flair that comes along with it. Really turns up the weirdness to a 10. And I feel like, in a lot of ways, this feels like the weird little brother, maybe, of Talking Heads' debut album, 77. That one feels much more mature and grown up, whereas this feels like if you took the ideas there, or even their second LP, and made them a little bit more cartoonish, a little bit more silly, a little bit more wild, that's what you're getting here. Now, if that's your bag, then you're going to love this record. It's kind of hard for me to not compare it to Talking Heads because it does feel very similar. But I really liked this kind of other side of the coin, the other kind of direction that it takes from that of a Talking Heads record. But honestly, all on its own, it is a very strong project. It's very short. It's only 34 minutes. It flies by quite quick, and honestly has some very, very funny tracks. Some tracks that have made me laugh out loud during this reaction, which, isn't too often that you hear a track so funny that you do let something out. Maybe a little huff through the nose, but this one here, especially when Jonee on track 9 just outright dies, I thought that was hilarious. So, I don't know. I feel like this one was catchy, fun, enjoyable. Uncontrollable Urge, also a very just great, fun kickoff to things. Hits you with that energy, and for the rest of the record, that energy kind of just takes you in each direction. But that does it for today's video. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe to follow along and listening to more punk albums alongside myself. We're going to close out the month real quick by the end of the week, and then we will start the new month of December with a new genre. I'm not going to announce that just yet. We'll save it for the last couple of videos there, but just hold on to your hats and subscribe if you're interested in hearing what I have to offer for that month. But the next video, the next album, I should say, that we're going to cover for the punk month is going to be Wide Awake by, I believe it's pronounced Parquet Courts. Hopefully I'm not butchering that. A much more modern album, and one that I've always wanted to check out. So go ahead and subscribe if you're interested in that record, if you're a fan of that record, and you'd like to see my reaction. As always, my name is Randy Joe. I appreciate you watching, and I'm signing off.